Okay, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief of the model. Okay, now everything that I speak about in this particular video is further elaborated upon and examples provided for in the NASDAQ Daily Scalping Strategy module and other related lessons. Okay, now what the market does is the market creates liquidity pools. What are liquidity pools? Basically, the market, as it's moving around, creates a swing high, right, or a swing low, or very close together swing highs. Okay, so that swing high is a liquidity pool. This set of relatively equal highs is a liquidity pool. This low down here is a liquidity pool. This swing low is a liquidity pool. This is basically another relative equal lows. That's also a liquidity pool. Okay, so what we are looking for in this strategy is for the market to take out a liquidity pool within a time window for us to then determine the bias, okay? The biggest challenge retail traders have is to determine where is the market headed next, okay? So if the market, let's just take this example, okay, is between our time window, and you'll learn about the time windows that we specifically look for, okay? So the first thing we do is we identify liquidity pools within a certain time period, okay? And you'll learn about what time period you need to be using. It's all discussed in the strategy, right? What we wait for is we first identify a high, okay, which is there. That's the high. And we identify, and that high needs to be within a certain time window. And then we identify the lowest low within that time window, which is there, okay? And notice there's another low here. So that level is our low, okay? And it has to be within a time window that you learn about, okay? Now, the low, okay, is known as sell side liquidity, okay? Because there are people in the market who have bought from this level as the market's rising. And for them to close their position, they must sell, okay? And therefore, they can either sell up high somewhere, okay? But if the market drops, then they have to exit their positions. And to exit, they must sell. And at that point, if the market goes below their buying price, then obviously they're going to make a loss, okay? So that's what we call the low sell side. Now, the high is called buy side, okay? And it's called buy side. Now, these are liquidity pools, right? So they could be referenced as sell side liquidity or buy side liquidity, okay? It's called buy side because there's a strategy where we can short the market and profit as the market drops lower. So there will be people who have shorted the market, right, as it's dropping. And for them to close their position, they need to buy back. And they might buy back down here. And if they have sold up high, like up here, then if they buy low, like down here, then they would be in profit. But if the market goes above where they've sold from, right, they need to buy the market, right, to close their position. And at that point, if they've sold at a level and then have to buy back at a level higher than where they've sold, okay, then they're going to be closing their position by buying it back and will be incurring a loss, okay? So you'll understand that if you don't already, okay? But essentially, in the market, you can profit potentially when price goes up if you buy low and sell high, or you can also profit if price goes down if you sell high and buy low, okay? That's called shorting the market, okay? So that's what we call that buy side, okay? Now, this model determines bias in a very unique way and makes it very easy for traders to identify the bias. So I'm just going to draw it again so that we have a clean canvas. So there's our time window. There's the market going up or down, okay? Now, what we wait for at a specific time is for the market to take out one side of these liquidity pools. And then we expect the market to attack the other side. So for example, if at the right time the market comes down and takes out sell side, then as per the strategy rules discussed in the NASDAQ Daily Scalping Strategy, our bias now has shifted to long, okay? Because sell side has been taken, right, we're below this low, after this time window, which is discussed in the Scalping Strategy, because that sell side has been taken, we are now expecting the market to attack buy side. Now that doesn't mean we automatically take a long position. We wait for a setup, okay? Now if the market, instead of taking out the low and that becomes close to the low, but then starts to trade up and takes out buy side, then our bias shifts to the downside. We then expect the market to reprice lower and attack sell side. So if buy side is taken first, it's all about what liquidity pool the market attacks first at a specific time window. If buy side is taken first, then we expect the price to reprice lower to attack sell side. And that's the model in a nutshell. Now, we don't just short the market up high. If buy side is taken, we wait for the setup. And you'll learn all about that, okay? You'll learn exactly what you need to see to identify those high probability setups. And you'll learn exactly what time you need to see that, okay? So the model takes care of identifying the bias, right? Takes care of knowing what time to come to the screen, okay? And three, what you need to see to identify your high probability setup, okay? So that's the model. And you'll learn that model in detail by watching all the videos and all the lessons inside of the NASDAQ Daily Scalping Strategy and going into the Market Updates channel, as I've explained in the previous video, and going through all of the daily trading videos and charts. And of course, you learn over time as you do your homework, as I've mentioned in the previous video, and do your prep work every single day and show up, okay? That's your job, to show up and do the work. And I guarantee you, you will learn exactly how I do this almost every day, okay? So I hope it's useful. I will now talk with you in the next video. Welcome back. In this video, I want to talk a little about what is our edge. You must have an edge if you are going to win at this game, okay? Otherwise, you're not going to be able to outsmart the other players. Now, our edge is knowing very quickly where the market is headed next, okay? As I explained in a previous video, we look at very time-based liquidity pools, okay? And we wait for the market to show its hand. If the market takes out a high, then our bias is that the market is going to reprice lower. And we look for the market to move down to the low. Okay, that's how we are able to very quickly identify the bias. Okay, now our second edge is that we know exactly the times that the market will make this move. Okay, and therefore we know exactly when to come to the screen to look for what we need to see. Right, and that brings me to our third edge, which is the setup. Okay, we have a very specific setup that we look for to confirm that once a time-based liquidity pool has been swept, that the market is in fact now going to sweep the opposing end, okay? And that setup has a number of elements that makes our strategy high probability and very mechanical. We want to see that a time-based liquidity pool is swept, okay? That's important. That gives us a very, very significant edge, knowing which liquidity pool the algorithm is going to target, okay? Because it's not just any liquidity, right? If you don't know what liquidity is, make sure you go back and watch the previous videos, okay? Secondly, once that's occurred, we want to see that the market is in fact now turning around, okay? We trade market maker models, okay? That means we wait for confirmation that the market maker is in a buy program or the market algorithm is in a sell program, okay? And for example, when the market has taken out this high in this example, okay, we're looking for a market maker sell model to be established, okay? Because the market moves in either a market maker buy program or a market maker sell program, and our job is to identify which program is the algorithm running, okay? And the first step in identifying that is to identify the market structure shift. Now, some of these terms that I'm going to be using in this video, you may have heard of them, but I guarantee you that whatever you know about those terms or have seen on the internet about those terms is not the correct way to identify, right, what I'm referring to. So I can almost guarantee that the way that I'm going to teach you market structure shift is not an approach that you've seen previously, because I'm teaching you the true market structure shift identification mechanism that helps us identify when the market is in fact now turning around. What do I mean by the market is turning around? Well, you've got to understand that what we're looking for is the market first manipulating, okay? So as I said, when the market is in a specific time window and the market's trading up and this high has been taken, right? And now we're expecting the market to reprice lower to take out this low. What that initially means is that this move up is the manipulation. And this is the market maker sell model, with the market first moving up to take out liquidity, and that's manipulation to get everybody long, and then it's actually a market maker sell model to come lower. And here is where we identify the two things. One, we use this initial manipulation to determine our bias, right? That's step one, okay? Okay, step one, bias mentioned there, okay? And then we want to see that at a specific time, okay? And then we want to see our setup that tells us that yes, we are now heading lower to attack the lows after sweeping out the highs. Market maker sell model, okay, in this example. Now, as I said, there are multiple things that we want to see inside of our setup. One of those is a market structure shift. And I guarantee you It's not what you may have heard about or seen or listened to on the internet, okay? It's a very, very specific type of market structure shift that I'm looking for. That is composed of its own 3 elements or 4 elements, okay? That will be discussed in the strategies videos, okay? There's a whole module on market structure shift, okay? Second, we want to see a time-based liquidity swept, okay? That's important. And all of this needs to happen at a specific time known as macro time. Now, again, you may have heard about macros and the time that they run, but I guarantee you, you do not know the true macro times. I'm going to reveal to you in this educational program the true time those macros run, okay? So I'm just talking broadly here about the setup, okay? Another element that we need to see, and I'm sure you've heard of this term as well, but I guarantee you it's not the way that we will teach it to you, and that is SMT, divergence. Every setup that we take must have SMT, okay? Now, I'm sure that you would have heard of SMT, but I guarantee you it hasn't been taught correctly. We use a very specific time-based SMT that we look for at every setup, okay? So that's just an introduction to the setup, and you'll learn a lot more about this and lots of examples in the setups module, okay? But all of that is our edge, okay? We are very quickly able to mechanically determine what the market will be reaching for next when certain actions occur within certain time periods and at very specific times, right? And we're looking for very specific models, like the market maker buy model or the market maker sell model. And to confirm the direction that we're expecting the market to go, we want to see our setup, our high probability setup, which is made up of multiple elements, okay? You learn all about that in the upcoming videos, okay? Now, I've linked a video at the bottom of this video you're watching now, where it's a video of me on a live trade, and you'll see me executing that trade. And it's a trade in which I've taken a long position, okay? So I'm expecting the price to rise, okay? Reprice higher. And you'll see initially the market is coming down, okay? And at the right time, I take a long position, and then you see the market expanding very quickly to the upside. And that upside target is the high of the day. It's all in that video. And this is me identifying a market maker by model. This down move is the manipulation. And we come to a key time, okay? Then I see a market structure shift. I see the SMT, okay? I see that the time-based liquidity pool has been swept, okay? And I see a few other things that allow me to start accumulating my longs. And you'll see me just buying at every opportunity I can, targeting the high of the day, okay? Now, in the video where you see me execute the trade, there's no sound, okay? But there's another video which I'll also link below where I walk you through that particular setup. Now, you may not understand it at this early stage of your journey, or you might, depending on what other videos you may have already seen, but don't feel overwhelmed if you don't understand all the different things that I'm talking about when I'm walking you through and breaking down that trade, because it's the same strategy you're going to learn. So maybe you can come back to it once you've gone through the other video that's part of the NASDAQ daily scalping strategy, and then come back to the walkthrough video of this trade that I've linked below, and you might understand it better, okay? So I hope you have a better understanding of what our edge is and why we must have an edge. And I hope you're excited to see that we do have an edge, because every strategy must have an edge to be successful, okay? So I hope this video has been insightful. Watch the trade execution video linked below. And if you like, also watch the trade breakdown video also linked below. But don't be overwhelmed if you don't understand what I'm talking about in that video, okay? But I guarantee you, as you progress through this journey and learn about all the different things that I'm sharing with you, one day when you return back to that same video where I'll walk you through and break down that trade, you will understand exactly why I took that trade, okay? So continue watching the next lesson in this week 1 of your journey. Make sure you're doing your homework. Make sure you're showing up every day in the Market Updates community channel, where I am trading the NASDAQ almost every single day. And in that thread each day, I am going through my thought process and showing my trade executions and trade breakdown videos afterwards once I have exited and closed the trade and have created those videos, okay? I will now talk with you in the next lesson. Now, click on the link below this video and you'll get to this page, which is my new hands-on community. Click on this join button, pay the $97 fee, which is peanuts for the value inside, and then you'll come into this page. From here, go into the classroom, and that'll take you into this page. Then from here, you can start to dig deeper into the directional bias, which teaches you where the market is headed. You can dive deeper into the time to understand when the market is going to move. You can then also dive into some of the elements that form the overall setup, which is detailed in the setups module. You can dive deeper into the change in the state of delivery, as well as the market structure shift. Okay. Then at the bottom here, I've put it all together into the NASDAQ daily scalping strategy. Go into there, and in here, make sure you watch all the different rules that I have put together that talk about all the rules of the strategy with all the examples, okay, so that you know exactly how to trade with this strategy and engage with price. Go into all the different trade execution videos, okay? So make sure you go through all the lessons so you know exactly how the strategy works, and then come back into the community tab, okay, and go into the market updates channel. In here, I want you to then show up every single day. You'll find a thread here for each day where I trade live, okay, and provide real-time feedback every single day on what I expect the market to be doing on that particular day in line with the strategy that you've learned inside the classroom, okay? In here, I trade every day and I post my markups every day, okay? And I talk about and show you when I take a trade. This is live in real time, okay? And as the trade is evolving, I am posting my charts and commentary so that you can follow along and learn in real time, okay? And this is the hands-on component of my new hands-on community, okay? Where in real time, I'm applying the lessons that you have learned so that you can see exactly how to apply the teachings in the live market. At the end of each day or the next day, I then provide a breakdown of that particular trade, okay? So every day, you'll see all the markups, all of my trades for that particular day in line with the strategy that you've learned from the classroom. And then at the end of each day, you'll see the trade breakdown video where you can study exactly why I got in, where I got in, and how I managed that trade, okay? Now, the other hands-on component to this is that every day when you show up to the market, you will mark out your charts just as I have explained in the NASDAQ daily scalping strategy, okay? In here, there's a video on how to do the prep work, okay? And that prep work needs to be done every single day because that is the hands-on component of this educational program. And you come into the homework section and you post your charts, okay? And then I look at those charts, right, to see what you've done, to make sure you have posted your charts and done your prep work correctly as per the strategy, and provide you feedback so that you can learn where you have correctly marked out the levels and where you have mistakes or may need improvement, okay? So that is how you're going to master this skill, okay? This is an educational program that gives you deep insight into all the different elements that you need to know about how to determine where the market is going next, how to determine at what time the market is going to move, and then how to identify the exact setup, what you need to see to engage with price. And then I put all that together into an overall strategy, okay? And then, as I said, the hands-on component where every single day you sit with me live, okay, where I take trades and I post my live feedback in real time as I'm trading the market. And that's how you're going to learn, okay? Because I'm applying the teachings, right, the lessons that you have learned in the real market in real time for you to then take note of and learn the teachings, okay? So don't make the mistake of not joining this community because you'll miss out like you missed out on my last offering. So do it now before all the seats are taken. Right now, you can lock in your $97 per month price forever, so long as you maintain your membership and be part of this community where this is a hands-on educational program. I hope to see you on the inside. Don't wait. Do it now. Click the link below this video and join immediately. I look forward to working with you on the inside.